Hi guys. It's Friday, March 27th. I'm outside using my car as my table, and I have puppy paw prints all over me. So this is life in quarantine. Um, anyway, so I hope that you were able to get some reading done yesterday. I did get some of your messages. I know that some of you said the book page numbers didn't line up according to what I said. I did post on Classroom the last line because I know some of you are reading the PDF or you were listening to the book or you got it on your phone or whatever. So I will post on Classroom the last line that where you can stop in case you're not reading with pages. So there's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. I hate that we can't have conversation face to face. What I do want to do with you next week is put you in small groups and have small Zoom sessions where we can talk face to face. But until then, there's a couple of things I want you to pay attention to. I told you to pay attention to the title of the book, or not the book, sorry. Fahrenheit 451 is relevant though too, because that's the temperature that paper burns. Just so you know. But the hearth and the salamander, I told you you might want to look into that and look at the symbolism there. We'll talk about that later. But what I want you to really focus on, and this is going to help you with the question that you have to answer on Flipgrid that's going to be posted in a little bit, is pay attention to in these first 18 pages where we meet Clarice and we meet Guy and we meet Mildred, the use of light and dark. Okay, Clarice. When she is introduced, she's white. Her hair or her skin is milky white. Her dress is white. She smells like apricots, right? So she's got this very light, she's got a lot of lightness around her, where Guy is jet black and he smells of kerosene. The imagery around his wife also, if you go back and skim through that, you'll see a lot of dark images. So I want you to be thinking about what you think that could mean. Okay, that is going to be a constant throughout this book. So that's one thing. Number two, let's see. I got an email from Gabe, and he brought up something that I meant to mention. So I'm so glad he did bring it up. And he asked if you remember, we read this story a while ago when Mrs. Hulsman was here. We read The Pedestrian. And The Pedestrian was the story about the guy who was arrested for walking. And remember, we were confused because we were like, does the car talk and walk or move by itself? Like, what's happening? That story was written by Ray Bradbury also. And Gabe brought up the point that we learn right away that Clarice, her uncle, was arrested for being a pedestrian. So Gabe had asked, is that connected? And there is a lot of connection there. Actually, The Pedestrian was the beginning of Fahrenheit 451 at first. It was there's connection there. And I found another teacher that I don't know, but I found a Flipgrid that, or not a Flipgrid, a Prezi, and it explains it really well. So I'm going to post that on Classroom so you can see the connection between the short story The Pedestrian and Fahrenheit 451. I think I'm about to get rained on. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to tell you before I post your assignment? You're going to be asked to explain how Guy and Clarice are foil characters. And so if you don't remember what a foil character is, it's complete opposites. If you look back at Romeo and Juliet, Romeo and Tybalt were foil characters. They were complete opposites. So when they were together, you really could see their characterization well. Okay, so you're going to be asked to talk about foil characters in this Flipgrid assignment. So I just wanted to refresh your memory on what that was. And let's see, what else is in my notes? I think that's it. I'm going to have you read over the weekend because let's be honest, you don't have anything else to do. So I want you to read, and the book gets to page 39, and it's halfway through the page. And it says, he knew that when he pulled her hand away from his, it was wet. Okay, and I will put that on Classroom too. I'll put that line on Classroom for those of you who are reading in other sources. Okay, but I want you to be taking notes. What are some things you realize about this book? What are some images that stand out to you? Some characterization that stands out to you? What are some technologies that you think, probably in 1953 that wasn't around? Okay, so that's what that document is for. that you did your journals on, just continually, anytime you have a thought or there's something that you wanna discuss, put it on that document, and then occasionally we'll do some group discussion where we can talk about this. I know some of you are going to want to read ahead, and I understand. So if you do, that's fine, but just make sure that you're tracking with us in conversation and don't spoil anything because there's some spoilers in there. One thing I do want to tell you, because I know some of you are probably already thinking it because every year people think it. Clarice is only 17. She's 17 and crazy, is what she says. She is not going to be a love interest for Guy. Okay, so Guy is married. Um, marriages were, um, gosh, divorce rates were not nearly as high in the 50s. Okay, so people took their vows seriously. And that's something that you sort of, they hit on later in this book. But remember, Ray Bradbury is writing in the 50s. So Clarice is not going to be a love interest for him. She's just somebody who opens his eyes to how things are different than what he always thought they were. So even if you think that he's thinking about her a lot or whatever, that's not going to happen. So get your mind out of the gutter. Um, yeah, I love hearing from you. So if you have any thoughts or if there's anything you want to talk about, shoot me an email and I'll bring it up in these videos. I'll set up some Zoom sessions with you next week. But what I'm going to post right after this video is I'm going to post where you need to read to next. Excuse me, and that will be by 2 o'clock on Monday. And then I'm going to post your Flipgrid assignment, and I want you to do your Flipgrid assignment today. Okay, so by tomorrow morning, I'm going to get on. Tomorrow morning, I have to check some sophomore work. So I'm going to get on tomorrow morning and check that, and then I'm going to check your Flipgrids. And I'm going to have you actually comment on each other's Flipgrids too. Okay, so all of that will be posted on Classroom. So I'll post your next assignment. I'm going to post your Flipgrid assignment and your reading assignment. Okay. I'm also going to go on and I'm going to respond to some of your discussion board stuff. There was some really great conversation, great insight there. So I've read it. Now I'm going to go back and respond to some of it. Okay, so this video is 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's a lot of time for you to have to listen to me. But I hope you guys are doing well, and just know that I miss you, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Enjoy reading.